There's a kind of unease that few people can explain, but many feel. It's not anger. It's not dislike. It's something more silent. An inner tightness that arises at the exact moment someone warns, "I'm passing by." For some people, this phrase doesn't sound like an invitation. It sounds like an invasion. And the question that remains is, why do some people hate visitors, even when they like the people who come? The answer lies not in a lack of education, nor in emotional coldness. It lies in how that person organizes themselves internally. For certain individuals, home is not just a physical space. It's a psychological territory. A place where the mind finally lets its guard down. Where there's no need to perform, explain, smile out of obligation, or adjust one's own rhythm to someone else's. When someone enters this space unprepared emotionally, something is broken inside. The person who hates visitors is, more often than not, someone who is constantly adapting to the outside world. They spend the day adjusting their behavior, tone of voice, posture, and expectations. This consumes psychic energy. When they get home, what they seek is not company, but emotional control of silence, of time, of one's own body. The visit, even with good intentions, interrupts this process of self-regulation. There is also a little discussed factor: internal surveillance. People who feel easily observed tend to hate visitors because, unconsciously, they activate a state of alert. They begin to monitor the environment, the mess, the tone of the conversation, what might be judged. Even if no one is judging, the mind creates this threat. The home ceases to be a refuge and becomes a stage. Many of these people grew up in environments where privacy was constantly violated. Doors without locks, intrusive questions, mandatory presence. They learned early on that being alone was rare and precious. Therefore, in adulthood, they protect their own space rigidly. Not because they hate people, but because they learned that being alone is the only safe way to exist without pressure. There's also the component of social fatigue. Some minds function better in silence. They need long periods of isolation to reorganize thoughts, emotions, and identity. Visits break this internal flow. It's not social laziness. It's neuropsychology. For these people, socializing doesn't recharge. It drains. Another important point is predictability. People who hate visitors tend to like routine. Not out of boredom, but for emotional stability. A visitor brings the unpredictable: how long they will stay, what they will want, what topics they will bring up. This excess of variables generates anxiety. And the mind, trying to protect itself, transforms this discomfort into rejection. Interestingly, many of these people are extremely deep in the relationships they choose to maintain. They don't want quantity. They want control of emotional access. They prefer scheduled meetings with a beginning, middle, and end. This way, they can prepare themselves psychologically. An unexpected visit breaks this invisible agreement with their own mind. There is also a feeling that is difficult to admit: guilt. The person who hates visitors often feels wrong about it. They wonder why they can't be more receptive, warmer, more normal. This guilt increases the stress of the visit and reinforces the cycle of rejection. The more they pressure themselves to like visitors, the less they can tolerate them. Ultimately, hating visitors rarely has anything to do with the other person. It has to do with the urgent need to preserve one's own inner state. It's a silent attempt to maintain sanity in an excessively invasive world. These people don't want to push everyone away. They just want to choose when and as someone enters. Perhaps the most important question isn't why do you hate visitors, but rather, at what point in your life did your personal space stop being respected? Because for many people, protecting the home is merely a symbolic way of protecting their own mind. If you recognize yourself in this behavior, don't rush to judge yourself. Understanding this is the first step in creating healthier boundaries, without guilt and without unnecessary explanations. If this content resonated with you, leave a comment sharing your experience. And subscribe to the channel to continue exploring, quietly and in depth, the psychology behind human behavior.